Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to attract animals naturally? Dogs that normally bark at strangers walk right up to them. Cats that hide from everyone curl up in their lap. Birds land nearby without fear. Wild deer approach instead of running away. There is something happening that goes beyond what we can see with our physical eyes, and according to ancient wisdom attributed to Jesus, animals are responding to something profound about your spiritual state. They're seeing your light body and the color it radiates. Before we dive deep into this mystery, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're about to explore spiritual truths that could completely transform how you understand your connection to all living things. The concept of the light body isn't some New Age invention. It appears in ancient texts, mystical teachings, and esoteric interpretations of Scripture. The light body is your energetic field, your aura, the electromagnetic signature that surrounds your physical form. While humans have largely lost the ability to perceive this field consciously, animals have retained this ancient sight. They see beyond the material realm into the energetic truth of who you are. When Jesus spoke about being the light of the world, he wasn't just using a metaphor. He was describing a literal spiritual reality that exists for all beings. Your light body reflects your inner state, your thoughts, your emotions, and your spiritual development. And animals, especially mammals and birds, can see this light as clearly as you see someone's face. Think about the times you felt completely at peace. And maybe you were in nature, meditating, or experiencing a moment of genuine joy and love. In those moments, your light body expands and radiates at a higher frequency. The colors become brighter, cleaner, more harmonious. Animals sense this immediately. They feel safe around you because your energy tells them you're not a threat. You're not radiating fear, anger, or chaotic emotions that would make them wary. Instead, you're broadcasting peace, and in the animal kingdom, that's an invitation to come closer. Jesus understood this principle deeply. He knew that our outer world reflects our inner world, and that beings who live closer to instinct than intellect would respond to the truth of our energetic state, rather than the masks we wear for other humans. The color of your light body changes based on your emotional and spiritual condition. While when you're feeling love and compassion, your field glows with warm colors like gold, pink, and soft green. These are colors that animals instinctively recognize as safe and nurturing. A person radiating these frequencies becomes like a beacon that animals naturally move toward. They don't think about it consciously. They simply feel drawn to the warmth and safety your energy provides. On the other hand, when someone is consumed by anger, fear, or negativity, their light body takes on darker, more chaotic colors. These might be muddy reds, harsh blacks, or sickly yellows. Animals perceive these colors as warning signals. Even a friendly dog might growl or back away from someone whose energy field is turbulent and threatening, regardless of what that person is doing physically. Jesus taught that we should become like little children to enter the kingdom of heaven. Children and animals share something important in common. They both perceive the world more directly, with less filtering through the analytical mind. A child will often say someone gives them a bad feeling even when that person is smiling and acting friendly. Animals do the same thing. They bypass the social performance and read the energetic truth. This is why psychopaths and people with dark intentions often complain that animals don't like them. It's not random. Animals are seeing something real that humans have trained themselves to ignore. Your light body cannot lie. It reveals your authentic state of being, and animals trust that information completely. There are documented stories of saints and spiritual masters who had extraordinary relationships with animals. Saint Francis of Assisi is perhaps the most famous example. Birds would land on his shoulders. Wild wolves became tame in his presence. These weren't miracles in the sense of breaking natural law. They were natural responses to someone whose light body was so pure and radiant that animals recognized a being of complete harmlessness and love. Francis had cultivated his inner light to such a degree that his very presence calmed the survival instincts of wild creatures. This same principle applies to you. The more you purify your thoughts, emotions, and intentions, the more your light body clarifies and brightens. And as it does, you'll notice animals responding to you differently. On the teaching attributed to Jesus about animals seeing your light body also explains why certain places feel different energetically. When someone with a turbulent, dark energy field spends time in a location, they leave an imprint. Animals will avoid that space even after the person has left. Conversely, when someone with a bright, loving energy frequents a place, it becomes charged with that positive frequency. Animals will be drawn to these locations. You might have noticed that some homes feel immediately welcoming, while others feel uncomfortable the moment you walk in. Animals sense these differences even more acutely than humans do. They're reading the accumulated energetic signatures that have been impressed into the environment. Now, let's talk about how you can consciously work with your light body to improve your connection with animals and elevate your overall spiritual state. The first step is awareness. Most people go through life completely unconscious of the energy they're broadcasting. They wonder why they feel drained after being around certain people or why animals avoid them, never realizing that their own inner turbulence is creating these effects. Start by paying attention to your thoughts and emotions throughout the day. Notice when you slip into patterns of judgment, resentment, fear, or anger. These mental and emotional states immediately affect your light body, dimming its radiance and distorting its colors. Simply becoming aware of these patterns begins the process of transformation. The second practice is purification. Jesus spoke often about purity of heart. This isn't about moral perfection in some external sense. It's about cleansing your inner world of the accumulated debris of negative thoughts and emotions. Meditation is one of the most effective tools for this work. When you sit in silence and observe your mind without judgment, you begin to create space between your awareness and your thoughts. This space allows the turbulence to settle. As your inner waters become calm, your light body naturally clarifies. You don't have to force this process. You simply have to create the conditions for it to happen naturally. Regular meditation, time in nature, conscious breathing, and practices of forgiveness all contribute to the purification of your energetic field. The third key is cultivation of specific emotions and states of being. Love is the highest frequency. When you consciously generate feelings of love, gratitude, compassion, and joy, your light body responds immediately. These emotions literally change the electromagnetic frequencies you emit. There are scientists now who can measure these changes with sensitive equipment, showing that heart coherence and positive emotions create measurable shifts in the energy field around the body. Animals have always known what science is only beginning to confirm. They feel these frequency shifts and respond accordingly. If you want animals to trust you, become a person who radiates love consistently. This isn't about pretending or putting on a performance. Animals will see through that instantly. It's about genuine inner transformation. Let's address a common question. What if you've had negative experiences with animals? What if dogs bark at you or cats scratch you? Does this mean your light body is dark or damaged? Not necessarily. Sometimes animals respond to unresolved trauma or fear in your energy field. If you were bitten by a dog as a child, you might carry a subtle fear frequency that dogs pick up on, which can trigger their defensive instincts. The beautiful thing is that you can heal these patterns. Through conscious work with your emotions and energy, you can release old traumas and shift the frequencies you broadcast. Many people have reported that after doing deep emotional healing work, their relationships with animals completely transformed. Dogs that used to bark at them became friendly. Cats that avoided them sought their attention. The colors of your light body correspond to different aspects of your being. Red relates to your physical vitality and life force. A healthy red in your field indicates strong physical energy, but when it becomes too intense or muddy, it can signal anger or aggression. Orange connects to creativity and emotional expression. Yellow is associated with mental activity and personal power. Green represents the heart, love, and healing. Blue relates to communication and truth. Indigo connects to intuition and spiritual perception. Violet represents the highest spiritual states and connection to the divine. When these colors are clear, balanced, and harmonious, animals perceive you as a trustworthy being. When they're muddy, blocked, or chaotic, animals sense instability or danger. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within you. And this inner kingdom is reflected in the state of your light body. When you cultivate peace, love, and spiritual awareness internally, it manifests as radiant light externally. This light isn't just symbolic, it's a real phenomenon that affects your interactions with all living beings. Animals live primarily in the present moment. They're not caught up in stories about the past or anxieties about the future. This makes them incredibly sensitive to what's actually happening right now in your energy field. If you're present with them, calm and open, they feel it. If you're distracted, anxious, or closed off, they feel that too. This is why meditation and presence practices don't just help you spiritually. They literally change how you show up in the world and how other beings respond to you. There's also a collective dimension to this teaching. When groups of people raise their consciousness and purify their light bodies, it affects the entire environment. Animals in those areas become calmer and more trusting. Plants grow more vibrantly. The whole ecosystem responds to the elevated frequency. This is why intentional communities focused on spiritual development often report unusual connections with wildlife. It's not that they're doing anything special in terms of physical care for animals. They're creating an energetic environment that animals recognize as safe and nurturing. This has profound implications for how we think about environmentalism and conservation. Yes, we need to protect habitats and stop physical destruction, but we also need to address the energetic pollution we create through our collective fear, anger, and disconnection. One of the most powerful aspects of this teaching is that it makes your spiritual development visible in a tangible way. You don't have to wonder if you're making progress on your path. Pay attention to how animals respond to you. Are they becoming more trusting? Do they approach you more readily? Do aggressive animals calm in your presence? These are signs that your light body is brightening and harmonizing. They're external confirmations of internal growth. This feedback loop can be incredibly encouraging on the spiritual journey, which often feels abstract and invisible. Animals become your teachers and your mirrors, showing you the truth of your energetic state without judgment or pretense. Let's talk about practical application. Next time you encounter an animal, especially one that seems nervous or aggressive, try this experiment. Instead of focusing on the animal's behavior, turn your attention inward. Take a few deep breaths. Consciously generate feelings of love and peace in your heart. Imagine your light body expanding and softening, radiating warmth and safety. Hold this state genuinely, without any expectation or force. Then simply be present with the animal, giving it space and freedom. Don't try to make anything happen. Just maintain your own internal state of calm, loving presence. You might be surprised at how the animal's behavior shifts. This isn't manipulation or control. It's alignment. You're aligning your energy with frequencies that animals naturally recognize as safe. This teaching also helps explain the phenomenon of therapy animals and emotional support animals. These animals aren't just providing comfort through physical presence. They're interacting with and helping to regulate the light bodies of the people they serve. A person experiencing anxiety or depression has a contracted, chaotic energy field. When a calm, loving animal enters their space, that animal's coherent energy field begins to influence and stabilize the person's field. It's a form of energetic healing that happens naturally through proximity and interaction. The animal doesn't have to do anything except maintain its own state of calm presence. This is why simply petting a dog or cat can lower blood pressure and reduce stress hormones. The physical touch is part of it, but there's also an energetic exchange happening at the level of the light body. Animals also serve as early warning systems for spiritual and energetic disturbances. People throughout history have noticed that animals behave strangely before earthquakes, storms, or other natural disasters. They're sensing shifts in the electromagnetic field of the Earth itself. Similarly, animals in a home might become agitated or frightened when there are energetic disturbances, whether from human conflict, spiritual entities, or other sources. They're not being random or difficult. They're responding to real phenomena that humans typically can't perceive. Learning to pay attention to animal behavior can actually give you information about the energetic environment you're in. If animals seem uncomfortable in a space where they're usually calm, it's worth investigating what might be causing that shift. The ultimate message of Jesus regarding animals and your light body is one of unity and connection. You're not separate from the natural world. You're an integral part of it, and your inner state has real effects on everything around you. When you take responsibility for your thoughts, emotions, and energy, you're not just helping yourself, you're contributing to the well-being of all life. Every moment you choose love over fear, peace over anxiety, forgiveness over resentment, you're literally brightening the world. Animals recognize this truth instinctively. They don't care about your status, wealth, or achievements. They only care about the authenticity and quality of your energy. In this way, they call you back to what really matters. If you want to deepen this connection, spend time in nature regularly. Sit quietly and observe animals without trying to interact. Let them come to you if they choose. Practice maintaining a state of calm, open awareness. Notice the thoughts and emotions that arise and gently return to presence. Over time, you'll find that animals become less wary of you. Birds might feed nearby. Squirrels might come closer. Deer might pause and look at you without fear. These aren't random occurrences. They're responses to the changes happening in your light body as you cultivate greater inner peace and awareness. Each of these encounters is a gift, a moment of recognition between beings who are all part of the same unified field of consciousness. The teaching about animals seeing your light body also invites you to consider how you show up in all your relationships. If animals can see the truth of your energetic state, so can sensitive humans, especially children. The masks and personas you create for social situations might fool some people, but they don't change the underlying reality of what you're broadcasting energetically. This is an invitation to live with greater authenticity and integrity, to align your outer behavior with your inner state, to do the work of actually becoming the kind of person you want to be perceived as, rather than simply managing appearances. This path requires courage and commitment, but it's the only path that leads to genuine transformation and deep connection with all of life. As we close, remember that your light body is always communicating. Every thought, every emotion, every intention affects its color, brightness, and frequency. Animals are reading this information constantly and responding accordingly. This isn't something to feel anxious about. It's simply a truth to become aware of and work with consciously. Start where you are. Notice your patterns. Choose thoughts and emotions that align with love and peace. Practice presence and authenticity. Spend time with animals and nature. Let them teach you about the energetic truths you've forgotten. As your light body brightens and harmonizes, you'll find that not only do animals respond differently to you, but your entire experience of life shifts. You become a source of healing and peace in the world, and that's the greatest gift you can offer. If this message resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss future explorations of these profound spiritual truths. There's something beautiful that happens when you commit to this work of purifying your light body and raising your consciousness. You begin to notice synchronicities. The animals that appear in your life start to feel less like coincidence and more like meaningful messages. A cardinal visiting your window when you need encouragement. A deer crossing your path during a moment of doubt, reminding you to move forward with grace. A cat choosing to sit with you when you're struggling emotionally. These aren't random events. They're part of a larger conversation happening between you and the natural world. As you become more attuned to your own energy, you become more sensitive to these communications. Animals are constantly trying to reach us with their presence and their behavior. The question is whether we're paying attention. This awareness also transforms how you interact with challenging animal encounters. If an animal seems aggressive or uncomfortable around you, instead of taking it personally or becoming defensive, you can approach it with curiosity and compassion. Rather than seeing the animal as the problem, you can ask yourself what you might be broadcasting energetically that's triggering this response. Are you carrying tension in your body? Is there fear or uncertainty in your energy? Are you projecting impatience or frustration? Sometimes simply becoming aware of these patterns and consciously shifting them in the moment can completely change an animal's behavior. You're not trying to control the animal. You're offering it a different energetic reality to respond to. This approach works because it addresses the root cause rather than just the symptom. The light body also responds powerfully to gratitude. When you genuinely appreciate the animals in your life, thank them for their presence, and recognize the gifts they bring, your field brightens considerably. Gratitude is one of the highest frequency emotions you can generate. It opens your heart and expands your light body in ways that few other practices can match. Take time to really see the animals around you. Notice their unique qualities, their behaviors, their individual personalities. Send them genuine appreciation, whether it's a bird at your feeder, a squirrel in your yard, or a pet in your home. Let them feel that you recognize and value their presence. This act of conscious gratitude creates a positive feedback loop. The more you appreciate animals, the more your light body brightens, and the more animals are drawn to that brightness. There is also profound healing potential in this teaching for those who have experienced fear or trauma around animals. Perhaps you were attacked by a dog, chased by a wild animal, or had some frightening experience that left you with lasting anxiety. This trauma becomes encoded in your light body as a protective pattern. Your energy literally contracts and stiffens when you think about or encounter animals. The problem is that animals sense this fear and defensive energy, which can trigger their own protective instincts. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Breaking this cycle requires gentle, patient work with your own nervous system and energy field. Through somatic practices, therapy, meditation, and gradual exposure combined with energy work, you can heal these patterns. As you do, your light body softens and expands. Animals sense this shift and respond with less defensiveness. Over time, you can completely transform your relationship with animals through this internal healing work. The teaching about light bodies also offers a new perspective on animal welfare and conservation. While it's absolutely important to protect animals from physical harm and preserve their habitats, this spiritual understanding suggests there's another layer to environmental responsibility. The energy we carry and broadcast collectively affects the entire ecosystem. Places where humans live with chronic stress, violence, and negativity create energetic pollution that animals sense and want to avoid. Conversely, places where humans live with intention, keep peace and love, become magnetic to animal life. This doesn't replace the need for practical conservation efforts, but it complements them. True environmental healing requires both physical protection of nature and energetic purification of human consciousness. When we raise our own vibration and brighten our light bodies, we literally make the world a safer, more welcoming place for all creatures.